From village prodigy to city sensation, Emma had the world at her fingertips, until a river with a price claimed more than she could imagine. Talent alone couldn't save her. What she sacrificed to chase her dream might destroy her. Claire had always believed that her hands were gifted in ways she didn't fully understand. While other children in Willow Creek Village spent their afternoons climbing trees or chasing each other along dusty footpaths, Claire sat on overturned crates braiding grass, weaving beads into string, or styling the hair of any friend willing to sit still for long enough. Her fingers moved with a speed and confidence that made grown women stop and watch. "Child, you braid like someone twice your age," her grandmother often said, shaking her head with a proud smile. "You were born with magic in those fingers." Growing up, Claire never thought much of it. Beauty was just her passion, a place where the world made sense. The village was small, quiet, and wrapped in routine. Life flowed gently like the river that ran behind the houses, and the biggest event of the year was the annual Talents of Tomorrow competition held during the Harvest Festival. Every year, Claire watched young people perform songs, dances, poetry, even acrobatics, but she never entered. She didn't think braiding hair fast was a real talent compared to people singing like angels. But in her final year of high school, everything changed. The competition that changed everything. It was Mrs. Henley, her former primary school teacher, who suggested Claire join the competition. "You underestimate yourself," Mrs. Henley told her one afternoon while getting her hair braided. "Speed and creativity are gifts, Claire. Not everyone has them. You could win." Claire laughed nervously. "Win what? People will laugh at me. Who competes by braiding hair?" "Someone brave," Mrs. Henley replied. "And someone who knows her worth." Those words lingered in Claire's mind for days, echoing in her chest until she finally filled out the registration form. She spent nights practicing intricate patterns, timing herself, pushing her creativity further than ever. By the time the festival arrived, she had built an entire concept, art in motion. She planned to braid 3 different models in front of the judges, all within 15 minutes. When her name was announced on stage, her legs trembled, but her hands didn't. The crowd gasped as Claire's fingers danced through the hair, weaving shapes no one in the village had ever seen. By the time she finished her 3rd model, the judges were whispering to each other with visible excitement. When the final results came in, Claire stood frozen as the announcer called her name. "And the winner of Talents of Tomorrow is Claire Morgan." The applause was deafening. Her grandmother cried. Mrs. Henley hugged her. And the village elders presented her with a large trophy and a cash prize big enough to change her life. At that moment, Claire felt something she hadn't felt before: certainty. She knew, deep in her bones, that her talent could build her a future far bigger than Willow Creek Village. For weeks, villagers congratulated her everywhere she went. "Your hands will take you far," they said. "Don't forget us when you make it big. Start something beautiful." But Claire wasn't just excited, she felt pressure. Winning was one thing, turning the prize money into a career was another. She sat many nights staring at the envelope on her desk, her heart racing. Her grandmother noticed. "Go," she told Claire one evening, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "This village was only the beginning. Your dreams won't fit here forever." Claire swallowed hard. "What if I fail?" "Then you'll rise again. But you'll never know unless you try." And so, after weeks of planning, searching, and saving, Claire bought a one-way bus ticket to Lakeside City, a growing urban center known for fashion, influencers, and endless opportunities. Lakeside City was nothing like Willow Creek Village. Buildings towered over her as if competing for space in the sky. Cars honked constantly. People moved quickly, each chasing their own ambitions. Claire's first days were spent exploring, learning bus routes, eating cheap fast food, and dreaming about her small but vibrant future salon. With her prize money, she found a tiny salon space on a busy street, barely big enough for 2 chairs, but to her, it looked like a kingdom. She scrubbed the floors, painted the walls a soft rose gold, hung mirrors, bought hair products, and set up a single ring light for content creators. On opening day, she stood outside her shop, hands trembling, heart pounding, staring at the bold new sign. Claire's Touch Beauty Bar. Customers trickled in slowly at first: a teacher who needed box braids, a receptionist wanting a weave install, a student needing cornrows. Word spread fast. "You braid fast," one woman exclaimed. "You're so gentle," said another. "You're creative. I've never seen this style before." Soon, customers were returning weekly. Some even brought friends. And then, the moment that changed everything came 3 months later. The day everything exploded. A local influencer named Zara Blake walked in, sunglasses perched on her head, followed by 2 friends holding phones. "Hey babe, I heard you braid like lightning," Zara said with a bright smile. "I want jumbo twists, and we'll film everything for my page." Claire froze. Zara had over 600,000 followers. Her videos went viral all the time. "Of course," Claire said, trying to keep her voice steady. When Claire began working, Zara immediately went live. "Oh my gosh, she's so fast," Zara said to the camera. "You guys, I'm not even joking, this girl is a genius." Within hours, Claire's DMs were flooded. Her appointment book filled for the next 2 months. She started earning more in a week than she used to earn in months back home. People queued outside the door waiting for a slot. More influencers came. More customers arrived. More money poured in. And for a moment, Claire felt unstoppable. The need for help. But the human body has limits. Braiding from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day left her wrists aching, her back stiff, and her eyes burning. She barely slept. She barely ate. Every day felt like a marathon. "I can't do this alone anymore," she whispered to herself one night while soaking her hands in warm water. She decided to hire help, young women who wanted to learn, who were passionate, who she believed she could mentor just the way her grandmother mentored her. The first 2 women she hired, Lily and Amanda, worked with enthusiasm. They watched her closely, asked questions, learned quickly. Too quickly. 2 months later, Lily quit without warning. Days after, Amanda gave a vague excuse about family matters and left too. Within 3 weeks, both had opened their own small salons 3 streets away, using techniques Claire personally taught them. The pattern repeated. Claire hired new workers. They stayed a few months, learned her secrets, then left for competitor shops, some even taking customers with them. Still, Claire kept pushing. She didn't want to believe people could be so ungrateful. Until the day that changed everything. The house call that altered her destiny. One of Claire's wealthiest clients, Mrs. Davenport, requested a house call. Claire packed her kit early in the morning and traveled to the mansion where she usually braided Mrs. Davenport's hair. As she set up her tools, Mrs. Davenport stepped outside to take a phone call. Claire wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but the woman's voice drifted into the room. "Yes, I told her about the river. Of course it works. People go there desperate and come back blessed. No, she doesn't know about the rules yet." Claire paused mid-preparation, her heart beating faster. The river. Her curiosity grew as Mrs. Davenport continued. "It grants wishes. But you have to sacrifice something of value, and you must keep your promise. Otherwise—" her voice dropped to a whisper Claire could barely hear. "The river takes back everything." A chill ran through Claire's body. A river that grants wishes. A promise with consequences. And Mrs. Davenport thought she didn't know about it? Claire's mind began spinning. Everything she had worked for was crumbling, workers stealing from her, customers drifting away, exhaustion eating her alive. Maybe this was the answer she desperately needed. When Mrs. Davenport returned to the room, Claire acted normal, but inside she was burning with a wild curiosity, a dangerous desire she couldn't shake. For the first time in months, she felt hope. Hope mixed with fear. And that was the day Claire made a decision that would change everything. A decision that would lead her to a river whispered about in old legends. A river guarded by spirits. A river rumored to be ruled by mermaids who offer blessings with prices attached. A river she was willing to visit. Even if it meant risking everything. Even if it meant giving up something she could never get back. For the rest of the day, Claire worked silently, but her mind was loud. Every twist of the hair, every section she parted, every product she applied, it all felt distant. Her hands moved from memory, but her thoughts wandered back to Mrs. Davenport's hushed voice on the phone. A river that grants wishes, with rules. She tried to shake it off, but curiosity clung to her like a shadow. By the time she finished the appointment and stepped outside into the warm evening air, she already knew she wouldn't sleep that night. Her business was slipping out of her hands, and she felt powerless. But if there was even one chance that the river was real, one chance that she could save her dream, she was willing to take it. The search begins. Claire returned to her small apartment, kicked off her shoes, and sat cross-legged on the bed. Her salon books lay open beside her. Invoices, appointment logs, unpaid bills, product orders waiting to be fulfilled. The weight of it all pressed on her chest. She ran her fingers through her own hair, an unconscious comfort she'd always had, then grabbed her phone. Mermaid river that grants wishes. River that grants blessings. River sacrifices. Wishing river near Lakeside City. Search after search turned up nothing useful. There were myths and legends from other countries, stories of enchanted springs, but nothing specific. No real place she could pinpoint. Frustration gnawed at her, and she tossed her phone aside. Maybe she was being foolish. Maybe she'd misunderstood Mrs. Davenport. But then she remembered something, the pause in Mrs. Davenport's voice when she whispered, "Otherwise, the river takes back everything." That wasn't the kind of statement someone makes lightly. Claire paced the room, chewing on her thumbnail. Then she made a decision. She would go back to the Davenport mansion, but this time, not for an appointment. Returning to the mansion. The next morning, Claire stood outside the Davenport's wrought-iron gate, nervously tugging at her jacket sleeve. When the security guard recognized her, he buzzed her in without hesitation. "Morning, Miss Claire," he greeted. "Morning," she smiled weakly. Inside, she found Mrs. Davenport tending to her roses. The older woman looked surprised to see her. "Claire, did I forget we booked another appointment?" "No," Claire said carefully. I actually came to ask you something." Mrs. Davenport lowered her gardening shears, eyebrows raising. "Ask me what?" Claire inhaled deeply. "I overheard you yesterday," she confessed, "when you were on the call. You mentioned a river, one that grants wishes." The woman froze. Claire continued, her voice trembling slightly. "Please. I'm not trying to pry. Everything is falling apart. I've worked so hard, and things keep slipping away from me. If there's a place that can help, I need to know." Mrs. Davenport stared at her for a long moment. Too long. The silence felt heavy. At last, she sighed. "Come inside." Claire followed her into the living room. Mrs. Davenport closed the door, drew the curtains slightly, and turned to her with an expression Claire had never seen before. Serious, tense, conflicted. "What I'm about to tell you," she began slowly, "is not something people share lightly. The river is real. But it's not a tourist attraction or a place you visit out of curiosity. It demands respect and sacrifice." Claire swallowed. "I understand." "You don't," Mrs. Davenport said gently. "Not yet." She sat down, motioning for Claire to join. "I went there many years ago," she said, her gaze drifting to the window as if looking back in time. "My husband and I were drowning in financial problems. I was desperate. Someone told me about this river, said the spirits who guard it could grant blessings in exchange for something you value." "So, you went?" Claire asked softly. "Yes. I went alone. I followed the instructions given to me. I brought an offering, I made a promise, and I asked for my wish." Her voice softened. "Within weeks, our lives turned around. Opportunities came from nowhere. Our debts disappeared. It felt like magic." "And the price?" Claire whispered. Mrs. Davenport's eyes darkened. "I kept my promise," she said simply. "That is why I am still blessed." She turned to Claire, gripping her hand. "But people who break their promise, the river takes back everything, and sometimes more." A shiver ran through Claire's body. "Where is it?" she breathed. Mrs. Davenport hesitated again, conflicted. "Are you sure this is the path you want?" Claire nodded. "I'll lose everything if I don't try." Finally, the woman relented. "It's located in the forest beyond Westlake Ridge," she said. "Hidden. Old. Ancient. They say mermaids guard its waters, not the kind from fairy tales. The kind that can give and take." She scribbled directions on a folded sheet of paper and handed it to Claire. "Follow this exactly. And Claire," her voice dropped, "whatever promise you make, keep it. Breaking it has consequences you cannot imagine. Claire nodded, though her heart hammered violently. She left the mansion clutching the paper tightly, as though it were a lifeline. The journey to Westlake Ridge. The next morning, Claire set out before sunrise, carrying only a small backpack, a flashlight, a bottle of water, a scarf, a jacket, and a simple offering, her grandmother's silver bracelet. It was the most valuable thing she owned emotionally. She hoped it was enough. The bus dropped her at the edge of the forest. According to Mrs. Davenport's directions, she still had a long walk ahead. The air was cool and crisp. Birds chirped. The sun filtered through tall trees. At first, it felt peaceful. But as she went deeper, the forest grew thicker. The path narrowed. Distances seemed to stretch unnaturally, as if the forest did not want to be easily navigated. After an hour, the sounds changed, the birds grew silent, and the wind seemed to whisper instead of blow. Claire stopped several times, wondering if she was lost. But then she heard it, a faint melodic hum drifting through the trees. Soft, sweet, almost hypnotic. She followed the sound. The deeper she ventured, the more the humming wrapped around her senses, pulling her forward like magnetism. Finally, the trees parted, and she saw it. The enchanted river. The river glowed. Literally glowed. The water shimmered with a silver-blue light that danced like moonlight on glass. Mist curled above the surface like delicate fingers reaching upward. The air felt warm though the forest was cool. The closer she stepped, the heavier the atmosphere became, thick, humming with energy. Claire's breath caught. She had never seen anything like it. She walked slowly to the edge, her heart pounding in her ears. The water rippled gently, though there was no wind. Then, a voice rose from the river. Soft, smooth, echoing. Who enters the water of wishes? Claire stumbled back, gasping. The water shifted, swirling into shapes. A figure began to emerge from beneath, not fully human, not fully creature. A mermaid. Her hair flowed like liquid night. Her eyes glowed with a soft blue light. Her scales shimmered like diamonds under the sun. She was breathtaking, beautiful in a way that was otherworldly. Claire froze, unable to speak. The mermaid smiled faintly, revealing teeth that were a little too sharp to be comforting. "I am Soraya," she said, "guardian of the River of Wishes. Why have you come?" Claire forced herself to breathe. I need help," she whispered. "My business is dying. People take from me. I work so hard, but everything is falling apart." Soraya tilted her head. "And you desire, what?" "To be successful again," Claire said. "To be respected. To be unshakable. To never lose what I've built." The mermaid's eyes glowed brighter. "Such a wish requires sacrifice," Soraya murmured. "Something valuable. Something personal. And a promise you will keep." Claire swallowed. "I brought this." She held out the bracelet. Soraya drifted closer, examining it. "Your grandmother's," she said softly. "A meaningful offering. Accepted." The bracelet dissolved into silver light. Claire's heart squeezed painfully. "What promise will you make?" Soraya asked. Claire's mind raced. She had no idea what to offer, or what the mermaid expected. Soraya raised her hand, touching Claire's forehead gently. A cold rush shot through her. "For your business to thrive endlessly," Soraya whispered, "promise that you will not hire others to do the work meant for you. Your blessing will flow through your own hands. No one else's. If you break this promise, all you gain will crumble." Claire blinked, stunned. Work alone. Forever. Her hands tightened reflexively. But desperation overpowered hesitation. I promise," Claire breathed. Soraya's smile widened. "So it shall be." She cupped the river water, lifted it, and gently poured it over Claire's hands. The water glowed. Her skin tingled. Her fingers burned and then cooled. "The blessing is sealed," Soraya said. "Your hands will never tire, never weaken, never fail. You will work faster than any human alive. Customers will flock to you, loyal and endless." Claire stared at her hands, trembling. "They feel warm." "Blessed," Soraya said. "Go now. And remember, Keep your promise." The river glowed brighter for a moment, then slowly dimmed. Soraya disappeared beneath the surface. The humming faded. Silence returned. Claire exhaled a shaky breath. She turned and began walking back through the forest, her mind spinning with what just happened. As she left, the river shimmered once more, as though watching her, waiting. Claire walked out of the forest with trembling legs, gripping the straps of her backpack as if it were the only thing keeping her grounded. The sunlight felt different somehow, softer, warmer, charged. Her hands tingled the entire bus ride home. Not painfully, but strangely, as though tiny sparks of energy danced beneath her skin. She kept staring at her palms, flipping them over again and again. Had she really just met a mermaid? Had she truly made a promise to a river spirit? The experience felt like a dream, vivid, impossible, intoxicating. But the faint silver shimmer on her fingertips reminded her that it had been real. Very real. She barely slept that night. When dawn broke, she got up, washed her face, tied her hair into a bun, and headed to her salon earlier than usual. She wasn't sure what she was expecting, but she felt ready for whatever came next. The moment she unlocked the door to Claire's Touch Beauty Bar, she felt the shift. Customers who normally arrived later were already waiting outside, 3 women she didn't recognize, chatting excitedly. "You're Claire?" one asked. "We've heard amazing things about you." "We saw the tag on Zara Blake's story," another added. "You braid faster than anyone in the city, right?" Claire blinked, stunned. "Yes, I do." Her hands tingled again as she said it. Within minutes, she was inside working. The first style was medium knotless braids. Normally, it would take her 3 hours. But today, she finished in 50 minutes. The client gasped. "This is impossible. You're like a machine." Claire tried to laugh it off, but deep inside, fear threaded with awe. Next client, a weave install. Done in 20 minutes. Next, feed in cornrows. Done in 15 minutes. Her hands moved with supernatural precision, speed, and grace. They didn't tremble. They didn't ache. They didn't slow down. It was as if they had a mind of their own, guided by an invisible force. Word spread rapidly. Customers flooded in. Walk-ins. Bookings. New followers online. Influencers posting reviews. Her DM notifications were endless. By noon, people were lining up outside. By evening, she had done more in a single day than she used to do in a week. And still, her hands didn't feel tired. They felt alive. In the following weeks, Claire's salon became the most talked-about beauty spot in Lakeside City. Whoever came once returned again, and brought friends. "You're a blessing," one woman told her gratefully. "I've never seen anything like this," said another. "You're gifted," an influencer declared while filming a vlog. "Girl, you're going places." Claire smiled and thanked them, but deep down, she understood what they didn't. This wasn't just talent. This was the river's power. Soraya's blessing. Her promise fulfilled, for now. Her income tripled. She bought new equipment. She upgraded her salon decor. She even saved enough to consider expanding her space. Life felt intoxicating. The success she had dreamed of was finally hers, flowing from her fingertips like magic. But blessings come with weight. And the weight soon showed. At first, Claire loved the rush. The constant flow of customers. The praise. The money. The online attention. The satisfaction of seeing her dream prosper. But as days turned into weeks, something became clear. She was the only worker. By choice. By promise. No matter how busy it got, she could not hire anyone else. Every braid, every parting, every style had to be done with her own hands. Slowly, the blessing became a cage. Some days she worked from 6 a.m. to midnight. Her hands never tired, but her mind did. Her legs did. Her back did. She barely had time to eat. She barely had time to sleep. She was booking more clients than any human should handle. But she couldn't say no. She couldn't slow down. She couldn't rest. And she definitely couldn't hire help. The river could be watching. One slip, and everything could crumble. Though her hand stayed strong, her heart felt pressured, overwhelmed, stretched thin. But she kept going, believing she could handle it. Until the first sign arrived. It happened late one night. Claire was sweeping the salon floor, exhausted despite her tireless hands. The air felt strange, heavy, charged. The lights flickered. A cold breeze swept through the room even though the doors were closed. The broom slipped from her fingers. She froze. A soft humming drifted through the air. Familiar. Too familiar. The same melody she'd heard at the glowing river. Claire's blood turned cold. The humming grew louder. Then the mirror fogged up, not from heat, but from something else. A shape appeared behind her reflection, shimmering faintly. Soraya. The mermaid's face formed within the mirror's surface, beautiful, haunting, too close. Claire stumbled back. What are you doing here?" she whispered, heart racing. Soraya's voice floated around her. "I come to remind you," she said, "that blessings must be honored. Your promise must never be broken." Claire swallowed hard. "I haven't broken it." "For now," Soraya replied, eyes narrowing. "But temptation grows with success. Be vigilant. Trust your hands, not others." Then the mist vanished. The humming faded. The mirror cleared. Claire was alone again. She sank into her chair, trembling. What had she gotten herself into? The next morning seemed normal, until Claire received a message from a high-end beauty expo in Johannesburg. They wanted her to be a guest stylist at an event viewed by thousands. They even offered a large payment. Her heart leapt. This was a dream. But instantly, the warning from last night echoed in her mind. "Trust your hands, not others." She messaged back. "I'll attend. Alone." They accepted, and the date was set. Excitement replaced fear, at least temporarily. A week later, Claire's grandmother called. They rarely spoke since Claire's schedule was always full, but she answered immediately. "Grandma," she said, smiling. "Claire," her grandmother said softly, her voice troubled. "Your spirit feels far away. Is everything all right?" Claire stiffened. "Yes, of course." "Why?" "I had a dream," her grandmother continued, "about water, deep water, and a woman with glowing eyes." Claire's breath stopped. Her grandmother went on, voice shaky. "She whispered your name, and she said, 'Promises bind more than chains.'" Claire felt sick. "Grandma, I need to tell you something," she whispered. But before she could speak, her grandmother interrupted. "Child, be careful. Blessings that come too easily often demand repayment." The warning cut deep. And it wouldn't be the last. The closer the expo date came, the busier Claire became. Customers flooded her salon so heavily that the wait list grew to nearly a month. Some clients begged to be squeezed in. Some offered double pricing. Some even left negative comments online claiming she was impossible to book. This pressure broke something inside her. One night, after turning away her fifth customer of the day, Claire sat in her empty salon and stared at her appointment book with burning frustration. If only I had help. Just one assistant. Just someone to wash hair. Just someone to sweep and prep. Not to braid, just to lighten the load. Her hands tingled as though reminding her of the promise. But her mind whispered back, "I'm drowning. I can't do everything alone forever." And that is when temptation crept in. A knock sounded on the door. It was Melissa, a young stylist who'd been begging Claire for months to let her assist. "Claire," she said breathlessly, "I heard you'll be at the Johannesburg Expo. Please let me come with you. I'll help with anything. I won't braid, just prep, clean, wash, anything you need." Claire's heart pounded. "No," she said quickly. I can't." "Please," Melissa begged. "It's just helping, not stealing your techniques. I promise." Claire hesitated. The expo was going to be massive. She would be expected to handle more clients in a single day than she ever had before. Going alone would be chaos. But taking help, would that break her promise? Her hands tingled painfully, a warning. "I'm sorry, Melissa," Claire whispered. "I can't." Melissa sighed in disappointment, thanked her anyway, and left. Claire locked the door and let out a shaky breath. That night, she had a dream. She was standing at the river again. Only this time, the water wasn't glowing, it was black. The trees were twisted. The air was cold. And Soraya stared at her from the center of the water with a sharp, predatory smile. "You cannot escape the rules," the mermaid hissed. "Break your promise, and everything you love will drown." Claire woke up screaming. Despite the fear, Claire attended the Johannesburg Expo alone. Her hands performed flawlessly. Crowds gasped. Cameras flashed. People couldn't believe how fast she worked. She was the star of the entire event. But behind every smile, every pose, every handshake, Claire felt a cold presence watching her, waiting for her to slip. When Claire returned to Lakeside City, she walked into her salon and froze. Her product shelves, fully stocked the night before, were overflowing. Bundles, gels, oils, everything doubled. Supplies she didn't order appeared. At first, she felt relief. Then, her reflection in the mirror flickered. Soraya's voice echoed softly. "Your supplies will never run out, as long as your hands remain the only ones to use them." Claire swallowed hard. This blessing came with chains. Unbreakable ones. She was trapped in a success only she could maintain. No assistance. No break. No escape. And yet, she prayed she would have the strength to keep her promise. But the river was patient, waiting for its moment, its breach, its price. That night, Emma sat in her quiet salon, the chairs empty now, the floor swept, the air smelling of shea butter and fresh hairspray. Her phone pinged non-stop. Messages from influencers. Appointments from celebrities. Collaboration offers from beauty brands. Interviews from magazines. Her hands trembled slightly as she scrolled. This was it. The life she wanted. The reward she had begged for. She felt tears gather. "Finally," she whispered. "Finally things are changing for me." And then the door opened. Emma startled. A woman stepped inside, tall, elegant, wrapped in a long green coat. Her hair was waist-length and impossibly sleek. Her eyes had an odd shimmer, like catching light from a moving river. "Are you Emma?" the woman asked softly. Emma hesitated. "Yes." "How can I help you?" The woman smiled. "I'm not here for hair," she said. "I'm here because I heard you found the river." Emma's blood froze. Her fingers curled around the arm of the chair beside her. "I don't know what you're talking about." The woman stepped closer, her eyes unblinking. "You do," she whispered. "And I'm here to warn you. Rivers give generously. But they remember everything. Don't forget what you promised." Emma's heart hammered so loudly she thought the woman could hear it. "Who are you?" Emma whispered. The woman gave a small smile, too knowing, too ancient. "A friend. For now." Then she turned, walked out, and disappeared into the night. Emma locked the door behind her with shaking hands. That night, she couldn't sleep. The woman's words replayed endlessly. "Don't forget what you promised." Emma tossed and turned, thinking about the sacrifice the mermaid demanded. Milk, oil, coins, gratitude. Every full moon. Emma inhaled sharply. The next full moon was tomorrow. Her stomach tightened. Her life moved so fast that she hadn't even realized how close the date was. "I'll go," she whispered into the empty room. "I'll do it. I'm not going to ruin this blessing." But something bothered her. The river was far. The path was dangerous. And now she had clients booked from sunrise to night. If she left, she would lose a day of business. And losing a day felt like losing everything she had just gained. She closed her eyes, guilt gnawing at her. Maybe I can skip just one," she whispered. "She won't notice one day." Right. But even as she said it, she felt the river echo in her bones. Rivers notice everything. Emma sat up, clutching her pillow. She would go. She had to go. But she didn't know that the moment she closed her eyes, forces beneath the water were already stirring. Watching. Waiting. Counting. When Emma woke the next morning, she found something on her bedside table. A single strand of wet, shimmering river grass. Cold. Fresh. Impossible. She touched it, and the temperature in the room dropped. Her skin prickled. Her breath turned white in the air. A message formed in her mind, not spoken but felt. Tonight. Come. Do not be late. Emma snatched her hand back and stumbled away from the bed. Her heart slammed against her ribs. No dream. No imagination. No illusion. The river wanted her. And it did not sound patient. Despite the fear pulsing inside her, Emma forced herself to go to work. The salon was already full to bursting, customers forming lines before she even arrived. Someone had taped a poster to the window. Emma, the fastest hands in the city. Blessed. Brilliant. Unmatched. She swallowed hard. Was she blessed? Or cursed? As she worked, her mind wasn't on the braids. It kept drifting back to the river. To the promise. To the warning. To the strange woman with eyes like moving water. She had to go. She couldn't risk losing everything again. Not after all she had suffered. But late afternoon brought a cruel twist. A celebrity called, one of the biggest in the country, requesting an urgent appointment for tonight. It was an opportunity that could change Emma's career permanently. But tonight was the full moon. The river would be waiting. Emma's chest tightened painfully. Two paths. Both life-changing. Both demanding her presence. She had to choose. And whichever choice she made, a price would be paid. Emma felt the world pressing in on her from every direction. The salon was buzzing, customers chatting, hairdryers blowing, phones ringing non-stop, but inside her, the silence was heavy. Heavy with fear. Heavy with guilt. Heavy with the weight of her decision. The celebrity's manager was still on the call. "So, is Emma available tonight?" the woman asked eagerly. "My client needs a braided updo for a major talk show appearance tomorrow morning. We want her specifically. Her page is blowing up." Emma's throat felt tight. Tonight. Full moon. The mermaid's offering. Her promise. I need a minute," Emma whispered, putting the phone on hold. She stepped into the back room and shut the door, leaning against it like it was the only thing keeping her standing. Her heart pounded painfully. She hadn't expected this. She hadn't expected her success to grow so quickly, so aggressively. She hadn't expected the choice to come so soon. But wasn't this what she had begged for? Wasn't this the very reason she went to the river? She exhaled shakily. "You want success. Then you must pay the price." The mermaid's voice echoed in her skull. Emma pressed her palms to her eyes. She couldn't decline this appointment. Not this one. A celebrity appearance would catapult her into national visibility. It would secure her future, her brand, her dreams. One missed offering wouldn't break the deal. Surely the mermaid would understand. Surely Rivers didn't expect perfection. Emma's hands trembled slightly as she picked up the phone again. "Yes," she said. "I'm available tonight." Emma accepted the booking for 7 p.m. sharp. The celebrity, Madison Lee, a huge media personality with millions of followers, would be arriving with her glam team and camera crew. Emma should have been happy. This moment could change her life. But as the sun began to set, her stomach twisted harder and harder. The moon was rising somewhere behind the city's tall buildings. The mermaid was already waiting. Her offering, the milk, the oil, the coins, sat neatly packed in a small bag beside Emma's bed. She had planned everything. She wanted to go. She meant to go. But now, she was braiding the most important client of her career. And she couldn't stop. The cameras were rolling. Madison was chatting excitedly. The glam team circled, capturing content from every angle. "Emma, girl, your hands are magic," Madison said, laughing. "What did you do, sell your soul? Because this speed is insane." Emma's breath caught. Her scissors slipped. She forced a laugh. "No soul selling. Just practice." Madison winked. Hum. "Well, keep practicing like that and I'll be booking you for every event." Normally, those words would have sent Emma into a frenzy of joy. But tonight they felt like chains. By 9 p.m., when the style was done, Madison looked flawless. The team clapped. The reel went viral within minutes. Emma's page began exploding with notifications. She should have been thrilled. But instead, she looked at the time. 9:03 p.m. The full moon had been high for hours. Her blood turned to ice. She had missed it. She had completely, entirely missed it. After Madison left, the salon finally grew quiet. Emma stood alone in the middle of her shop, staring at the reflection of the moon through the front window. It glowed like a giant eye watching her, judging her. She swallowed tightly. Maybe she could still go. Maybe the mermaid would accept a late offering. Hope flickered weakly inside her. Emma grabbed her bag of offerings, locked the salon, and rushed into the night. The city streets blurred as she ran, desperate, breathless, terrified. Taxis passed. Music thumped from clubs. But her focus was singular. Get to the river. Please still accept me. Please still uphold the blessing. Her heart beat painfully. But deep down, a part of her whispered the truth. She already knew the answer. The forest was darker than before. The wind colder. The air heavier. Even the insects seemed to have fled. Emma pushed through the trees, breath ripping through her lungs, her shoes slipping on wet ground. Finally, she reached the riverbank. And froze. The water was no longer glowing. No longer shimmering. No longer welcoming. It was black. Completely, horrifyingly black. Like ink. Like shadow. Like death. Emma's knees wobbled. She stepped closer, holding the offering bag to her chest. Hello, she called nervously. I'm here. I'm sorry I'm late. I had an emergency. But I brought everything. See? Her voice cracked. Nothing moved. No mermaid emerged. No ripple stirred. The river was silent. Then, suddenly, something cold wrapped around her ankle. Emma screamed. A slick, icy tendril, like a hand made of water, pulled her closer to the river's edge. She stumbled, nearly falling in. A voice rose from the depths, soft but filled with rage. You do not respect what you begged for. Emma's heart stopped. Please, I didn't mean. Rivers give. Rivers take. The tendril tightened painfully. And you forgot. Emma fell to her knees, shaking. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'll do better. I promise. Her voice broke. Please, I need my business. It's all I have. The water hissed like boiling liquid. One missed moon becomes two. The tendril released her ankle, letting her fall backward. Emma scrambled away, terrified. Next full moon. Be here. Or suffer. Then the water stilled. It went quiet. Black. Dead. Emma sat trembling, tears streaming down her face. She had survived. But the warning was etched into her soul. Next full moon. One last chance. Emma returned home just before dawn, exhausted and emotionally shattered. Her ankle burned where the water had grabbed her. She collapsed on the bed without even changing. When morning came, she woke with dread swirling inside her. She rushed to the sink, splashed water on her face, and went straight to the salon. At first, she held her breath. Everything looked normal. Her supplies were still neatly arranged. Her chairs were still spotless. Her schedule was still full. Maybe she still had time before anything went wrong. She opened the door and forced a smile for her waiting customers. But the moment she reached for her first container of hair gel, it was empty. Completely empty. Emma's heart dropped. She opened another. Empty. Another. Empty. Every jar. Every tub. Every bottle. Every tool drawer. Empty. Even the brand new box she just bought last week. Her hands started shaking. This wasn't possible. Her supplies had been magically replenishing for weeks. She hadn't had to buy anything. She thought it was a permanent blessing. But now it had all dried up. Emma, a customer said gently, is everything okay? Emma swallowed hard. Yes, I need to run to the supply store. But when she reached into her register to take money, it was empty too. All the cash she made yesterday. Gone. The mermaid hadn't just paused the blessing. She had started taking back. Emma rushed to the nearest beauty supply store, but the prices seemed higher than usual. She could barely afford half the items she needed. Her mind spun wildly. She would never get through the full day. She returned to the shop and tried to work quickly, but her hands were no longer moving at supernatural speed. They felt heavy, slow, trembling. The customers immediately noticed. "Emma, you okay? This isn't like your usual speed. Why is my braid uneven here?" The salon filled with murmurs, rumors, doubt. Emma tried to hide her panic, but panic seeped through everything. By late afternoon, a customer angrily confronted her. "This isn't what you advertised. The quality is dropping. Your page was lying." Emma's chest tightened painfully. Then another woman stood up. "She's rushing. She's not the same as before." More murmurs. More complaints. And then the worst one. Maybe she was never that good. Maybe it was all hype. Something inside Emma shattered. By closing time, the crowd had thinned, not because she was finished, but because people walked out. Left. Stopped trusting her. Stopped believing in her. Her reputation, once rising like fire, was now flickering dangerously. Emma sat alone in the dark salon, surrounded by empty shelves and fading hope. Her hands throbbed painfully. Her heart felt bruised. She closed her eyes and whispered into the silence. "I'll go next time. I swear. I won't mess up again. Please, please don't take everything." But the room answered with nothing. Only the faintest scent of river water lingered in the air. Emma clutched her chest. Next full moon. She would be there. She had no choice. Because the mermaid had made it painfully clear. Rivers give. Rivers take. And if Emma failed again, the river would take everything. Emma woke the next morning feeling hollow. Not tired, just empty. Like someone had carved out her insides and left her body to run on fear alone. She sat on the edge of her bed staring at the wall, the events of yesterday replaying like a nightmare she couldn't escape. The empty supplies. The complaints. The whispers. The walkouts. It was like watching her dream unravel thread by thread. All because she missed one offering. She squeezed her eyes shut and whispered, "Please let today be better." But deep down she already knew. The river did not forgive easily. Emma arrived at the salon early, determined to rebuild. Maybe yesterday was a warning, not a punishment. Maybe if she pushed through, she could still salvage her momentum. But the moment she unlocked the door, she froze. The entire salon smelled like damp water. Like moss. Like something dragged up from the bottom of a lake. Her stomach twisted. At first glance, everything looked normal. The mirrors. The chairs. The posters. The shelves. But when she walked deeper, she saw it. A long, wet streak sliding from the entrance to her workstation. Like something, or someone, had slithered across her floor. Her hands shook violently. "No," she whispered. "Please no." She knelt and touched the mark. Cold. Ice cold. The same temperature as the tendril that grabbed her at the river. Her breath quickened. This wasn't a warning. This was a reminder. Despite the chill creeping through her bones, Emma forced herself to prepare for the day. She wiped the floor the best she could, lit scented candles to mask the damp smell, and set up her tools. By 9 a.m., customers began arriving. But something was wrong. They stared at her differently. Not with admiration. Not with excitement. Not even with disappointment. But with suspicion. Rumors had spread, fast. Emma overheard whispers as more people entered. "She's not as good as they say. Her work was sloppy yesterday. My cousin said she rushed and ruined her edges. Is she losing it? Or was she never that talented?" Emma clenched her jaw, trying not to show emotion. "I can fix this," she muttered under her breath. "I can fix everything." But today, her hands were worse. Slower. Shakier. Heavier. Every braid felt like a battle. Every style took twice as long. Customers grew irritated. "Emma, this took 3 hours last time." Are you sure you're okay? This isn't the quality I expected. I thought you were the best. What's happening? Their disappointment crushed her, but the real pain came from their eyes. They didn't look at her like a star anymore. They looked at her like she was fading, disappearing. By afternoon, Emma's confidence was in ruins. She kept checking her supplies, hoping maybe, just maybe, the river would show mercy. But every container she opened was still empty. Every drawer still barren. She forced herself to take a short break and stepped outside. She leaned against the brick wall, breathing heavily. Her throat tightened. "I'm so stupid," she whispered. "Why didn't I just go? Why didn't I keep the promise?" A voice broke through her spiraling thoughts. "Because you were greedy." Emma's head jerked up. The tall woman from before, the one in the green coat, with sleek hair and river-shifting eyes, stood a few feet away. Emma's heart dropped. She stumbled back. "You again. What do you want?" The woman stepped closer, her expression unreadable. "I told you rivers remember everything," she murmured. "But you thought you were bigger than the river." Emma clenched her fists. "I wasn't. I didn't mean to miss the offering. I had an important appointment." The woman interrupted sharply. "The river doesn't care about your excuses." Emma's throat went dry. The woman leaned in slightly, her voice suddenly soft, almost pitying. "She gave you a gift, Emma. Power beyond your skill. Speed beyond human capability. Supplies that never ran out. And you repaid her by choosing money." "I didn't choose money." "You did," the woman snapped. "You chose fame, validation, pride. And now she is choosing too." Emma's eyes stung. "Please, can I fix it?" The woman's gaze darkened. "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you will obey next time." Emma nodded desperately. "I will. I promise. I swear on my life. Next full moon, I'll be at the river." The woman's lips curved into an eerie smile. "I hope so. Because this is only the beginning." Emma blinked. "What do you mean?" But when she looked again, the woman was gone. Like she had dissolved into air. As if she was never there. By evening, the nightmare worsened. A popular influencer posted a video. "Is Emma losing her touch?" It showed a customer complaining that Emma's braids were uneven. Another claiming she felt rushed. Another saying Emma fell off. Comments flooded in. "I knew her fame was temporary. She probably paid influencers to hype her. This is why real talent lasts and hype doesn't." Has anyone else noticed her quality has dropped? Emma watched the comments in horror. She tried to breathe. But it felt impossible. Her hands trembled violently. Her dream, her entire life, was slipping away again. And then came the worst blow. Madison Lee, the celebrity she styled on full moon night, posted a new story. "Hey guys! So many people asking about my hair. It didn't hold up very well, sadly. Might not use that stylist again." Emma's chest cracked open. Madison's disappointment spread like wildfire. More cancellations came. More negative reviews. More doubts. Her booking calendar, once filled for weeks, now showed blank spaces. Empty. Just like her shelves. Just like her register. Just like her hope. At closing time, Emma sat alone in her salon, staring at her reflection in the mirror. She looked broken. Her eyes dull. Her shoulders slumped. Her braids messy. She whispered to herself, "I just need to make it to the next full moon. I'll fix everything. I'll get it all back." But her voice cracked. And then, slowly, the lights in the salon began to flicker. Emma's blood went cold. No. Not now. Not again. The lights flickered harder. Then they went out. Total darkness swallowed the room. Emma froze. Her breath caught in her throat. The smell of river water filled the air. Cold. Damp. Metallic. Emma's pulse raced. She gripped the edge of her chair. Please, not now. I'm trying. I'm going to fix it." A whisper floated through the darkness. Soft. Wet. Echoing. "Next moon." Emma whimpered. A second whisper curled around her ear. "Don't fail again." Then the lights flicked back on. The smell vanished. The room was normal. But Emma knew. This was her final warning. If she failed the river again, it wouldn't just be her business that crumbled. It would be her. Emma locked the salon with trembling hands. She walked home silently, feeling the weight of supernatural eyes watching her from every shadow. When she reached her apartment, she sank to her knees beside her bed, clutching her offering bag. "I swear I'll go," she whispered, tears falling onto the floor. "I swear I won't mess up again. Please don't destroy me." Her voice broke completely. "I have nothing else. This dream is all I have." For a moment, the room was quiet. Then, a single drop of water fell onto her hand. She gasped and looked up. But the ceiling was dry. Another drop fell. This time on her shoulder. Then her cheek. Then her neck. Cold. Like river water. Emma froze, breath trembling. She heard a whisper, faint, fading, underwater. "Remember." And then the room fell silent. Emma hugged the offering bag to her chest and cried until her body ached. The next full moon was weeks away. But the countdown had already begun. For the next 2 weeks, Emma tried everything she could to hold her life together. She woke early. She worked harder. She took fewer breaks. She posted more content. She begged customers to give her another chance. But no matter what she did, nothing changed. The damage wasn't just done, it was spreading. On Monday morning, Emma stood in her nearly empty salon. Only 2 customers had booked appointments. On a day that used to be fully packed. She tried to focus. She tried to be positive. "It's okay," she whispered. "I'll rebuild. I'll start small again." Her hands trembled as she picked up her comb. The first client, a soft-spoken university student named Karen, sat quietly as Emma began parting her hair. But before Emma could braid the first row, her hand jerked, like a muscle spasm. Sudden, violent, sharp pain shot through her wrist. "Ow!" she hissed. Karen looked concerned. "Are you all right?" Emma forced a smile. "Yes, just a cramp." But when she tried again, her fingers twisted awkwardly. Her grip loosened. The hair slipped through her hands. Her movements lost their coordination. Emma felt panic rise in her throat. "Not now. Not this. Please not this." She squeezed her hands into fists, trying to steady them. Tried to calm her breathing. Tried to focus. She started again. But this time, her fingers tangled the hair. She had never made such a mistake before. Karen shifted uncomfortably. "Emma, it's okay if you want to stop. We can come back." "No." The word came out too forcefully. Emma winced. Sorry. Please. Let me continue." But her hands, they weren't her hands anymore. They shook uncontrollably. They slowed like they were weighed down by stones. Her precision was gone. The more she tried to correct her mistakes, the worse they got. Karen gently took her hand. "Emma, something is wrong." "It's okay. Really." Emma swallowed hard. Tears burned her eyes. Something was wrong. Deeply, unnaturally wrong. When Karen left, she didn't leave angry. She left worried. That hurt even more. By lunchtime, Emma was alone again. She tried practicing on a mannequin head, hoping maybe it was just stress. Maybe she was imagining things. But the moment she touched the synthetic hair, her hand jerked again, hard, almost violently. The braid unraveled. The parting line came out crooked. She gasped, stepping back like she had touched fire. Then the whispers started. Not out loud. Inside her head. Soft. Echoing. Like underwater sounds. "Hands that disobey the river will forget the art." Emma clamped her palms over her ears. "No. No, please, don't do this to me." The whisper continued, cold and merciless. "You promised. You broke the promise." "I won't break it again," she cried. "Just give me time." Silence. Then, "Rivers wait only once." Emma's entire body went cold. The next day, she arrived to find 4 clients sitting outside her salon door. Relief flooded her. Maybe she still had a chance. But as she unlocked the door, one of them stood up, arms folded. "Emma, we heard your work has been slipping. Before we commit, we just want to see if the reviews are real." Emma froze. Reviews? Another woman held out her phone, visibly uncomfortable. There it was. A recent post on a major beauty page. Is Emma's talent fading fast? It included photos of yesterday's uneven braids, screenshots of customer complaints, comments criticizing her technique. Over 30,000 people had liked it. Thousands commented. Emma's stomach dropped to her feet. She forced a shaky smile. "I promise I can still do excellent work. Please, let me prove it." But when she tried to braid again, the same thing happened. Hesitation, shaking, sloppiness, slipping fingers. The customer jerked her head away. "Okay, no. This is not what I saw online. Something is going on with you." Emma felt heat rush to her face. "I can explain." But one woman cut her off sharply. "Girl, keep your excuses. You became famous too fast. Now you're burning out." They all left. Right in front of her. The humiliation felt like a knife twisting slowly in her chest. She tried to hold it in, but the moment they were gone, she broke, collapsed onto her salon floor, held her shaking hands to her face, and cried until she couldn't breathe. Her dream wasn't dying. It was being taken from her, piece by piece. The bell on the salon door jingled. Emma jumped up, wiping her tears. "Sorry, we're—" She froze. It was the woman in the green coat, the one with the river eyes. Emma staggered backward. What do you want now?" The woman said nothing for a moment. Her gaze swept over the salon, the empty chairs, the silent workspace, the half-tangled mannequin head. "It's happening," she said quietly. Emma's voice cracked. "Please, help me." The woman stepped closer. "You don't need help. You need discipline." Emma shook her head violently. "I'm doing my best. I'm trying." "No," the woman cut in sharply. "You are panicking, begging, blaming. But you are not preparing." Emma blinked through tears. "Preparing for what?" "The next full moon," the woman said softly. "It is your last chance. She will not give you another." Emma's breath hitched. "I know," she whispered. "I know. I'm going. I swear I'm going. I'll do anything." The woman leaned closer, her voice chilling. "Will you sacrifice more?" Emma stiffened. "More." The woman nodded. "Rivers always increase their price when their trust is broken. What you offered last time will not be enough this time." Emma's heart pounded painfully. What does she want? The woman's eyes shifted like waves. "That is between you and the river." Emma swallowed hard. "I can't lose my gift," she whispered. "It's all I have." The woman studied her face. "You haven't lost it," she said. "You are simply borrowing the consequences of your actions." Emma blinked. "Borrowing? You will get your talent back, if you show up." Emma clutched the chair behind her. "And if I don't?" The woman spoke with a quiet finality that punched the air from Emma's chest. "Then the river will take your hands." Emma staggered backward, horrified. "My hands?" The woman nodded slowly. "Your braiding hands. Your creative hands. The source of your entire life. You will lose the strength in them. The skill. The dexterity. You will never braid again." Emma gasped sharply. "No. No, she wouldn't." "She would," the woman said. "And she will." Silence. Only Emma's shaking breath filled the room. The woman stepped back toward the door. "Prepare your offering," she said. "Do not be late. Do not hesitate. Do not break your word again." Emma couldn't speak. She couldn't move. The woman opened the door. But before she left, she said one last thing. "And Emma, rivers only take what you fear losing the most." The door closed. Emma collapsed into the nearest chair, her hands covering her mouth. Her talent, her passion, her whole life. She could lose everything. For the rest of the week, Emma did not try to braid a single head. She didn't risk it. She didn't trust her hands. Instead she cleaned, prayed, cried, watched the moon grow fuller and fuller each night. Her body ached with dread. Her stomach twisted every time she thought about the river. Her hands tingled constantly, as if they were waiting, anticipating their fate. On the night before the full moon, she placed the offering bag on her table. Milk, oil, coins, and something extra, a bracelet her grandmother gave her. The most precious thing she owned. Maybe the river would accept it. Maybe it would show mercy. Emma held the bag and whispered, "Please, don't take my hands. Please, please." The moon outside her window glowed white and monstrous. When the full moon finally arrived, Emma was ready. Terrified, but ready. She wore thick boots and a long coat. She tied her hair back tightly. She carried the offering bag close to her chest like a shield. But as she stepped out of her apartment building, her hands began to tremble violently. She stared at them, panic flaring. "No, not now. Not now, please." A wave of weakness rolled through her fingers, like someone pulling the strength from inside them. The mermaid was already reaching, already testing, already taking. Emma clenched her jaw and marched forward. Whatever price she had to pay, she would pay it. Because tonight, either she regained her gift, or she lost it forever. The moon hung heavy and swollen in the sky, glowing like a white wound above the city. It wasn't peaceful. It wasn't beautiful tonight. It felt watchful, alive, waiting. Emma hurried down the dark, narrow path toward the riverbank, clutching the offering bag to her chest. Every step made her hands tremble harder, the weakness spreading up her wrists like icy vines. She wasn't imagining it. Her strength was slipping. Her skill was fading. Piece by piece. Second by second. The river wasn't being patient. It was already collecting its payment. When Emma reached the river, she stopped short. The water was no longer calm and glassy like last time. It churned. It twisted. It pulsed with an unnatural rhythm, like something underneath was moving in circles. A cold shiver ran through her bones. She stepped closer, and the river responded. The water surged upward in a sudden wave, then settled back down as if acknowledging her arrival. She swallowed hard. I'm here. I came back. Please, please give me another chance." The trees rustled behind her as if a breath had moved through them. Emma stepped to the very edge, her boots sinking slightly into the damp earth. She held up the offering bag with trembling hands. "Please accept this." She knelt and opened the bag, taking out the milk, the oil, the coins, the bracelet. She placed them gently at the water's edge. Then she waited. The river did not take them. Not yet. Instead, the water began to rise. Slowly, silently, purposefully. It rose until it touched the offering bag, then slid over the bracelet, swallowing it first. The river had chosen. Emma exhaled shakily. But instead of calming, her hands trembled even more violently. Her fingers curled involuntarily, cramping painfully. She gasped. "No, no, please, not yet." Her left hand spasmed so hard she dropped to her knees. It felt like invisible strings were pulling her fingers backward, stretching them, weakening them, stealing them. Tears blurred her vision. "Please," she sobbed. "Please stop. I came like you asked. I brought the offering. Please don't take my hands." The river churned. And then the voice came. Not from the air. Not from the trees. From the water. A layered whisper, gentle and cruel at the same time. Promises broken. Emma froze. "No," she pleaded. "I swear I'll never break the promise again." The river responded. "Trust betrayed. I didn't mean to." Emma cried. "I was scared. I was overwhelmed. Please, please let me make it right." The water swirled faster. "Fear is not an excuse." Emma bowed her head, sobbing. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, I'll do anything. Silence. Then, will you give more? Emma lifted her head slowly. What more do you want? The river whispered. You know. Emma's chest tightened. No. No, it couldn't be that. Not what she thought. Not the thing she feared losing even more than her gift. My hands, she whispered. No. Her breath hitched. My voice. My sight. Your heart. Emma froze. Her heart. Her love. Her deepest loyalty. Her emotional devotion. The river wasn't asking for something physical. It wanted something spiritual. Something that couldn't be returned once given. Emma shook her head violently. I don't understand. The whisper deepened. You want to keep your gift. Then your heart must belong to the river. Emma's pulse pounded. You want me to serve you? Serve. Obey. Honor. I can't be controlled, she whispered, horrified. I'm human. Humans always belong somewhere. Emma dropped her head. This was too much. Too big. Too heavy. I don't know if I can give you that. The river surged violently, splashing water onto her shoes. Her hands spasmed again. Harder. Worse. This time her fingers curled so tightly she screamed. The pain shot up her arm like lightning. Choose. Emma fell forward, grabbing the wet soil to steady herself. The moon reflected harshly off the water. The air felt cold enough to slice skin. Choose, the river repeated. Her hands were losing strength by the second. Her fingers went numb. Her wrists weakened. She felt the horrifying sensation of something draining from her. If she didn't choose, she would lose everything she had ever worked for. Her talent, her career, her entire identity. Emma's tears dropped onto the riverbank. I choose, she whispered. The river went still. Emma forced the words out with a trembling voice. I choose you. The river inhaled. Or maybe the world around her simply froze. Either way, she felt the shift. A binding. A claiming. She clutched her chest as a cold energy wrapped around her heart. Not painful, but constricting, like a ribbon being tied tightly. The river whispered. Then rise. Emma staggered to her feet. The water reached forward like a hand and touched her fingertips. Suddenly, her hands warmed. The numbness faded. The trembling slowed. The strength returned. Not all at once. Not completely. But enough. Emma sobbed with relief. Thank you, thank you. The river did not answer. It simply pulled back, lowering itself to calm water again. Her offering bag floated briefly, then sank. Accepted. The moonlight dimmed, clouds drifting overhead. As Emma stepped back from the river, she felt the weight of what she had done. She had her talent back. But she no longer owned her heart. Not fully. Not freely. A piece of her now belonged to the river. To something ancient. Something watching. Something that would never stop expecting more. The world felt different as Emma made her way home. Her hands tingled with newfound strength. Her wrists felt looser and lighter. Her fingers no longer cramped. The weakness was gone. But in her chest, a cold pulse beat quietly beneath her normal heartbeat. A reminder. A claim. A debt. Emma wrapped her arms around herself. What have I done? She whispered. But deep down, she already knew. She had crossed a line she could never uncross. And the river never released what it claimed. The city was quiet as Emma returned, the cool morning light streaming down the streets, casting long shadows. Her feet carried her automatically toward her salon, but her mind felt heavier than her body. Her hands, once crippled with weakness, now moved normally. Faster. Steadier. But the pulse in her chest, the river's claim, remained. A faint, cold rhythm that made her heart feel simultaneously full and hollow. She paused in front of the shop. It looked the same. Familiar. Safe. But nothing felt safe anymore. Emma opened the door and flicked on the lights. She took a deep breath. Okay, she whispered. I can do this. I'm ready. And the city responded. Almost immediately. By 8:30 a.m., her first client arrived. Then another. Then a line began forming outside the door, longer than she had ever seen before. Her fingers moved like they had once moved when she was at the height of her talent. Smooth, precise, creative, almost effortless. She worked quickly, carefully, enjoying the feel of hair sliding through her hands. By noon, the salon was packed. Social media posts praising her speed and skill began flooding in again. Influencers streamed their visits, posting clips of Emma's intricate braids, her flawless patterns. Everything seemed perfect. Emma felt a brief swell of pride. She had survived. She had reclaimed her gift. The river had allowed her to keep it. But when she placed the last braid on a client and stepped back, she felt it, a subtle emptiness inside. A quiet, gnawing absence. Her chest throbbed. A cold pressure beneath her ribs. Something that whispered of her debt. The river had taken her heart, in part. And now, no amount of success could fill that hollow space. At first, the absence was subtle. Emma brushed it aside, thinking her mind was overworked. She smiled at clients, chatted politely, and avoided thinking too deeply about the cold pulse in her chest. But as the week went on, she noticed changes. Her emotions dulled. Joy felt muted. Excitement fleeting. Even sadness felt thin, like watching a scene through glass. Her friends noticed. "Emma, are you okay?" One coworker asked gently. "You seem different." Emma forced a laugh. "I'm fine. Just busy." But she wasn't fine. The river's claim weighed on her, invisible but undeniable. And worse, she noticed it changing the way her hands worked. Not physically, but creatively. The intricate, imaginative patterns she had once designed freely now felt forced. Something subtle in her mind's eye was missing. Her braids were perfect, yes, but safe. Predictable. Controlled. No spark, no whimsy. Clients noticed too. Some still raved online. But a few commented. "She's amazing, but something feels different." "Her work is flawless, but it's not the same magic." "She's talented, but I don't feel the passion anymore." Emma scrolled through the comments, stomach twisting. She understood. The river had given her skill back, but it had claimed part of her soul, the very thing that made her art sing. One night, her salon was nearly empty. Emma sat on a chair, staring at her reflection in the mirror. The moonlight fell across her face, pale and cold. She held a cup of tea in her hands, but it felt heavy, tasteless. She thought about the river, about the choice she had made, about the piece of her heart she had surrendered. Her phone buzzed. A notification from Madison Lee, the same celebrity who had once brought her fame. "Your braids are incredible, Emma. We should do a collaboration soon." Emma smiled faintly. The opportunity was real. She could finally rise above all the failures, all the heartbreak, all the setbacks. But the smile didn't reach her eyes. She realized something crucial. Success was hollow now. Empty. Beautiful, yes, but stripped of the joy she had once felt creating it. Her hands could still weave miracles. Her mind still imagined new designs. But the spark, her spark, was missing. The river had claimed it. As she sipped her tea, a subtle movement caught her eye. A ripple appeared in the reflection of the mirror. Not from the glass. Not from the room. From behind the mirror, a whisper rose. Soft, watery, impossible to place. "Do not forget. You owe." Emma froze. She knew that voice. She had heard it twice before. The river was still watching. Always watching. I haven't forgotten," she whispered. "You have taken. You have been given. But your debt grows." Emma felt the cold pulse in her chest intensify. The hollow beat that reminded her of the bargain she had made. She swallowed hard. "I understand. I will honor it. Honor it, or all will crumble. Even your hands. Even your life. Even the city you built." The reflection stilled. Silence returned. Emma exhaled shakily. She realized the truth. The river did not forgive. It did not forget. It only claimed, and expected obedience. She could keep her talent, for now. But every failure, every misstep, every selfish choice could tip the balance. And the river's patience was finite. In the following days, Emma's success seemed to grow. The salon filled beyond capacity. Social media was abuzz with her work. Influencers continued to highlight her skill. Yet, the hollow space in her chest persisted. The customers noticed the subtle difference too. Her speed and skill remained unmatched, but the spark, the joy, was gone. The artistry had become mechanical. Beautiful, yes, but predictable. Some clients whispered to each other, "She's amazing, but I don't feel her energy anymore. It's perfect, but it's cold. Like she's doing it out of obligation." Emma overheard and could only nod, silent, stomach twisting. She had regained her talent. She had regained her career. But she had lost herself. And somewhere, deep in the back of her mind, a voice whispered, "Soon, it will be your hands next. Or your life. Or both." Emma finally understood. Talent alone was not enough. Success alone could not protect her. The river's gift was a double-edged sword. Her hands could braid miracles. Her business could thrive. Her reputation could shine. But one mistake, one failure to honor her debt, would strip everything away. And no one in the city could protect her from that. Not money. Not fame. Not friends. Not family. Only obedience. Only sacrifice. Only the river. The realization hit her like ice water. She had survived. She had reclaimed her gift. But at a cost she would never fully understand. And the river was patient, yes. But not forever. The days that followed should have been the happiest of Emma's life. Her salon was booming. Her bookings were months ahead again. Influencers praised her. People traveled from other cities just to get their hair braided by the village girl with magic in her hands. From the outside, Emma had reclaimed her crown. But inside, she was crumbling. The cold pulse beneath her heart never stopped. It beat like another rhythm layered beneath her own heartbeat. A second life pulsing through her chest, claiming space, whispering reminders of a debt unpaid. And as business grew, so did the emptiness inside her. Smiling felt exhausting. Laughing felt forced. Creating felt mechanical. There was no passion, only pressure. Sometimes, Emma swore she could hear water moving behind her even when the room was silent. Sometimes, when she touched a client's hair, she felt a strange chill run through her fingertips. As if the river was touching them, too. But she kept pushing. Because she refused to let the river win. Not again. The tension grew until, one afternoon, everything snapped. Emma was braiding a long-time client named Rachel, someone who had supported her since the beginning. They talked easily. Well, Rachel talked, and Emma pretended to listen. She felt the cold pulse intensifying inside her chest. Her hands began to tremble, not with weakness, but with an eerie, unnatural vibration. Emma squeezed her hands together to hide it. "You okay?" Rachel asked gently. Emma forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired." But halfway through the braid, something happened. Her fingers froze. Not in pain. Not from exhaustion. But like someone else was controlling them. Her hand twisted sharply. Too sharply. "Ow!" "Emma!" Rachel yelped. Emma jerked her hand back, horrified. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, my hand just." Rachel rubbed her scalp, confused. "Are you sure you're okay? You've been off for weeks." Emma opened her mouth to reassure her. But then she heard it. The whisper. "Low. Cold. Close. Neglect." Her breath caught. "No. Not here. Not in front of people." She swallowed hard and forced her hands to move again, ignoring the tremor. But they wouldn't stop shaking. Her chest tightened painfully. "Neglect," the whisper repeated. A colder pulse hit her heart like ice cracking through her chest. Emma's vision blurred. "Are you, Emma? Emma?" Rachel called, her voice distant. Emma staggered back. She gripped the counter to steady herself. Her heart hammered violently, her heartbeat layered over the cold rhythm the river had placed inside her. For the first time ever, Emma felt like she couldn't breathe. And then, The cold voice spoke again. The moon rises tonight. Emma froze. Tonight. The full moon. The offering. She had forgotten. The same mistake that had caused her downfall before, she had repeated it. The river didn't tolerate forgetfulness. And she had failed it again. As soon as her last client left, Emma shut down the salon, hands trembling so violently she could barely turn the key. Her business was packed today. She could have earned record money. Her influence could have doubled. But none of that mattered now. The full moon hung heavy in the sky, already climbing. Emma ran through the streets, breath coming in sharp bursts. Her chest ached. Her fingers numbed. Every step felt heavier than the last. By the time she reached her apartment, the world felt tilted, dim. Her legs shook. Her vision kept flickering at the edges. She grabbed the offering bag, filled it, added extra, milk, oil, coins, and even jewelry she loved. She begged out loud as she ran. "Please not yet. Please don't take from me. I'm coming, I'm coming." Her voice cracked. She finally reached the forest path leading to the river. But something was wrong. The air was too cold. The trees were too still. The whole forest felt expectant, hungry. The river wasn't calm tonight. It raged. Waves slammed against the bank like fists. The swirling water glowed faintly under the moonlight. It pulsed like a living thing, furious and awake. Emma stopped several feet away, panting, terrified. "I'm here," she shouted over the crashing water. "I brought the offering. I'm sorry. I swear I didn't mean to forget." The river didn't calm. It rose higher. A shadow moved beneath the water's surface. Then another. And another. Shapes too large, too dark, too smooth to be fish. The whispers came in layers now. Hundreds, thousands of voices overlapping in echoing fury. Neglect. Disobedience. Broken vows. Ungrateful child. Tears spilled down Emma's face. "I didn't break the vow on purpose. Please, please give me another chance." The water surged, splashing over her feet, icy cold. "We gave. You took. You promised. You failed." Emma dropped to her knees. "I'm begging you. I'll give anything. Please don't take my gift. Don't take my hands. Don't take my life." Silence fell. But not a comforting silence. A decisive one. Like a judge preparing a final sentence. Then a single whisper cut through the air. "We will take what is owed." Emma's blood ran cold. "No, please. Not my hands. Not my life." But the river interrupted. "Your heart." Emma froze. "It is ours. And you tried to reclaim it." She gasped. Had she? She didn't even know. But the river continued. "You worked without devotion. You created without reverence. Your spark was taken, yet you sought to become whole again." Emma shook her head violently. "No, I didn't. I wasn't trying to take it back. I swear." "Your heart belongs to us." The river surged upward. A massive wave rose, shaped like an arm, long and fluid, stretching toward her. Dark shapes swirled beneath it. Eyes glimmered under the surface. Emma screamed and stumbled backward. "No. I'll do better. I'll serve you. I'll honor you every moon. Please, take anything else." The watery arm stopped inches from her chest. Then came the whisper that broke her soul. "Anything else, except what we already own." The water struck her. Not physically, but spiritually. A cold force slammed into her chest, ripping something out. Something light. Something warm. Something essential. Emma gasped, choking, clawing at her heart as if she could hold on to it. Her knees buckled. Her vision dimmed. The world distorted. She felt something pulling, like strings unraveling inside her, like a soft glow being stolen. She clawed at her chest, screaming, "No! Please! Please! Not my heart! Please!" But the river did not stop. And then, silence. Her screams fell away. The water stilled. And Emma fell. Collapsed on the muddy riverbank, eyes open, breathing shallow, but expression empty. She was alive. Her hands still worked. Her talent remained intact. But her heart, her true heart, the one full of passion, and love, and dreams, and life, was gone, taken fully, claimed forever. Her chest beat mechanically now. Her emotions muted. Her spark extinguished. She was a shell. A functional, talented, empty shell. The deal was complete. The river had taken what it was owed. Emma returned to the city before sunrise. She walked slowly, expression blank. People greeted her. She nodded. Clients praised her. She thanked them. Her salon became famous. She accepted it. But nothing mattered. Her braids were perfect. Her speed unmatched. Her creativity limitless. But she worked like a machine. Beautiful. Efficient. Soulless. People noticed. She's incredible, but she doesn't smile anymore. She works like she's not even here. She looks tired. She looks empty. But Emma didn't care. She couldn't care. Her heart no longer belonged to her. She slept without dreaming, worked without emotion, lived without joy. She had everything she ever dreamed of, and nothing at all. One night, alone in her salon, Emma stared at herself in the mirror. Her eyes looked different now, duller, colder, like deep water in winter. And in the faintest whisper, drifting through the silence, she heard the river. Remember. Emma didn't flinch, didn't respond, didn't feel anything. She simply nodded, because she remembered. She would always remember. The river gives. The river takes. The river never forgets. And the river always collects its debt. If Emma's story teaches us anything, it's that talent and hard work can take you far, but shortcuts, broken promises, and ignored warnings come with a price. Subscribe for more stories that mix magic, mystery, and life lessons. And remember, every gift comes with responsibility. Never forget the cost.